Okay, guys, you're all welcome. You're all welcome. So you are here at Solaris Technologies Institute, right? And today we are having a hands-on session, one of those Saturdays where we always bring you real-world projects to practice, real-world projects to get your hands dirty, real-world projects to have something document on your profile, and then one day hopefully you land that role because of a particular project you did, right? So you're all welcome. You're all welcome. My name is Eric Newton. I'm a cloud and DevOps engineer and part of the Solaris Tech team, right? Today we are going to be deploying a 3-tier web application on AWS, and the session is going to be facilitated by Prof. Atanga Emmanuel, and then the leading session, right? Everything you're going to be doing will be directed by our amazing Professor Arreyetta Augustine, right? He's also a cloud and DevOps engineer at the Solaris Tech community, right? So guys, you're all welcome. Feel free. And before we start, if you know anyone who is supposed to be here and hasn't joined, kindly send them the link. I'm dropping the link in the chat, right? I'm dropping the link in the chat so that we can share it massively. Let's share the link massively for people to join. So this is the meeting link. Guys, share the link, right? Share the link. I just dropped it. If there's anyone who's supposed to be here, send them the link, right? Let's have many people on the call as much as possible. We are only 21, which is not good, right? I know a lot of people, close to 100 people registered for this workshop, right? And 21 is not a good number. That means a lot of people are missing this. So if you know anyone who's supposed to be here, guys, send them the link so they should be here right away, right? Yeah, and then if your network is disturbing, don't bother coming on video. So just stay on audio so that you can follow the session while practicing, follow the steps. And if you have any question, you can ask at the end of the session, right? So I'm going to hand over to Prof. Emmanuel, Atanga Emmanuel, to take over the session, right? And I'll get back to you guys later. Okay, Prof. Emmanuel, take over. Thank you, guys. Have an amazing learning session.
And welcome to this session. Sorry, I was talking with Atanga in the back end, and he just stepped out a bit to answer to some. He will not be able to join us in time, but I'm sure along the line he will join us. So thank you very much, and welcome once more to this session. I hope everyone can hear me. Hope everyone can hear me. Sorry for the late start. We had some things to fix at the back end. So, okay, let's dive in
Why are you
immediately.
recording?
Let me share my screen. Um, yes, the session is being recorded. So, be rest assured, after the workshop, you can have a playback of this session. Is it clear? Okay. So let me share my screen. So we'll just talk about something short before we dive into the project. So let me share the screen. Okay. Okay. One sec. It seems Eric didn't give me a certain permission I needed. So that's why you see I'm trying to reach out. Anyways, let me see what to do. Okay. So I had to bypass a little to have permissions to do this since he's a little bit busy too later. It's really a big okay. Okay, let's start. Um I might be off camera for now, but I'll get to camera as we continue just because I want the network to be a little bit stable given the situation at hand. These afternoons are not really the best time to really pick up some type of sessions. So I'm going to be off camera for a bit. Then when things get a little bit stable, be rest assured I'll come on camera. So I am Arreyetta Augustine. You can call me Augustine for short. And I'll be coordinating this session with Prof. Athanga in absentia, but be rest assured he will join us. What we're going to do today is deployment of a 3-tier architecture. That's what we're going to do today. So first things first, just like a short recap of what a 3-tier architecture is. So let me just do a short recap. So when we talk about a 3-tier architecture, what do we mean? A 3-tier architecture is simply um are you seeing my screen? Is everyone seeing my screen? Oh, what's happening?
No.
Okay, thank you. Okay. So a 3-tier architecture is simply a software design. It's just how you design. So it's a software design where an application is separated into 3 separate, you can call it fragments, or you can call it independent layers, and so on. So let's just use the word layers. So an application is divided into 3 separate layers, and each of the layers respond independently. So 3 different layers, but one application having 3 different layers, and they respond um, specifically and independently. They have their different functions. That's what I mean. But one application. And now this 3-tier application, when we talk about three layers. There are three main layers. We have the presentation layer. We have the logic, or some people call it the app layer or tier. And then we have the database or simply DB. Let's say DB. Now, the first layer, which is the presentation layer, is simply the layer you see. Most of the times when you just log into a website, let's say you log into for example, Udemy, for example, the first thing you see is that interactive layer or the user interface. The one you see is what we call the presentation layer. So the layer that is presented to the client. That's the meaning of presentation layer. Now, really, I don't know. Is everyone having the same issue? Because it seems if everybody else can see my screen. Is everyone having the same issue? Like, are there some people who cannot see my screen? That's what I mean. Okay, that means Okona, maybe it's from your end because many can affirm that they can see. I guess it's from your end. Okay, great then. So the presenters layer is just the layer you can see. So the layer you see. Now there are two other layers. Aside the presenters layer or the presentation layer, there are two other layers you will never see. These two. These two you will never see. Now, what do they really do? That is the question. What do they really do? Now, when you speak with the presenters layer, I'll just call it P. Mostly at the level of dynamic website. So what we are going to do is more of a dynamic website, so not a static website. So mostly at the level of a dynamic website, once you interact with that website, let's say for example, you are running an application maybe for a school and you pass in your name and everything and you click on submit, you should expect that the school should have maybe um a copy of your application in their database such that they can call you up when it's time for maybe admission. They will send you an admission and so on. So they have your information, the information you used when you were applying for that school or maybe for that program or anything. So that time or that moment you write that maybe your name, your phone number at the level of the presenters layer, which is the layer you can see, and you hit on submit, the logic layer does what we call a reverse proxy. It picks this information from the presentation layer and passes it to the third layer, which is the database DB layer. So it passes the information here and keeps it inside. So the logic layer is just simply that layer that does the transmission of information from the presentation layer to the database layer. That is what they call the logic layer, the thinker. It knows where to put what in your database once you have programmed it, certainly. So you've already programmed this layer. Okay, take this information and put it inside this spot or this point in my database or inside this particular table in my database, and so on and so forth. So the logic layer is the one that does that thinking and transmission. And the database layer, finally, as simple as it is, the storage layer, the layer that stores the information. So, having said that, let me just clean this and share with you something. Haven't had in mind that, okay, when we talk about three tier, you mean three layers, which is presenters, logic, and database. Good. Now, why is it even important? That is a question you should ask yourself. Why is it even important for you to know this? Now, let me draw your in a sorry, let me try to see if I can mute, mute the person talking. Mr. Tanga, please, can you help me mute the person talking? Thank you very much. Okay, so back to what we were talking about. Now, why is it even necessary? Why is this all necessary? Why this treat here and so on? Now, let me draw your attention to something. In the time of old or years back, we had what we called a monolithic application presentation, where all these three layers did exist, yes, or but all of them were found in the same stack or in the same system. Let's say, for example, they were running in one EC2 instance. Let me put it, you should just understand what I'm trying to say. Imagine they were running all in the same instance, the same EC2 instance. So we had one EC2 instance that was running the presenters layer, the logic layer, and the database layer all in one instance. At first, yes, during that time, it was the best of all. Yes, that is why as technology comes, you get better. But during that time, it was their best, let's say, best architecture, the best way they could put it, monolithic. That means all of the EC2 instance, for example, one stack. That's the meaning of monolithic. Now, the disadvantage with this was that, for example, it had a single point of failure. Imagine a hacker gets into this instance. What have you done automatically? Imagine this was a bank app and a hacker got into this instance. Automatically, the hacker has gotten information or gotten access to your database. Automatically, because it is just one layer of protection, this instance. So once it is breached, direct entry. So it had a single point of failure, which is dangerous. But back then, yes, it was the best they could handle or the best they could do. Now, another thing with this architecture was that it was difficult to maintain, very difficult to maintain. When I say difficult to maintain, now imagine you had to do many patches, many updates, and so on your application code that was running on this monolithic application. Imagine what is happening in the back end indirectly. Now, this is what is happening. Let me show you. In the back end, let's imagine that the code was just 3 lines. The more you did maybe updates and everything, the lines of code kept increasing, kept increasing, kept increasing. The more you do updates, the more you did. In fact, it kept increasing at some point such that the code was so complex and homogeneous. It was so complex at some point that sometimes when a developer or the person in charge gets the code, the person needs to take a lot of time to start digesting the code first. Why? Because all was in the same instance. So every update was done in the same line of code and everything. So it was difficult to maintain. Sometimes it's very easy for you to even forget what you did. Why? Because it was impossible for the application code to be really managed because it became so many lines. And you can bear with me, imagine a scenario you have about 40,000 lines of code. Sometimes you scroll and go to number 100 line, and you go to number 1000 line, you get confused. You go back and say, hey, what was I even? And that is how the thing became, it became very difficult. Another thing which you should not forget is that now, when we it comes to monolithic applications, most times it had one technological stack. What do I mean? Imagine you needed dependencies that will run for, maybe you had a dependency that normally, like say Python, Python 2, for example. Python version 2 was the best that could maybe run your presenter's view. For example, it's just an example. And let's say Python 3, that's version 3, was the best that could run your logical view. But because it is all your layers are on in one stack. One second, let me just clean this. Because all your layers were in one stack, that is presenters, logical and deploy and database. They were in one stack. It was difficult sometimes. Sometimes you had to really burst your brain in order to get the best dependency that can go for the three layers, and it should work perfectly. Sometimes it was difficult. You had to try and keep trying the best version that could be handled, and so on and so forth, which was not the best because it was trainers. Yes, it was. Now, that is just a few. And now, how did the three-tier application design come to solve all of this? Remember, the first thing you should think,
Yeah,
I said,
alignment is not written.
I said
Alignment is not
it
written.
had a single point of failure.
Huh?
That's what I said. Now imagine now that you did this. You did something like this. Let me clean this. Imagine you did something like this. It was like this at first, but now it became this. Three distinct layers. Now, this saved the issue of single point of failure. Why? In case somebody hacks into your presentation layer, it does not necessarily mean the person can hack into your database. Nope, it does not. And by that time, at least you, as the engineer in charge, could even start working to safeguard maybe any other underlying code that is having any credential that might, and so on and so forth. So that time, for the hacker to start moving from here, or maybe start hacking, you would have at least done something. So this database is at least protected because it follows a flow. Every traffic follows a flow. Information must pass through the presentation layer, the logical layer, before it gets to the database with this approach. So the issue of single point of failure was kicked off. Another point, your database was better secured. The security now increased because with this method, when you have streamlined your security as perfect as possible, you make sure that traffic can only move in this channel and nothing more. So there is that layer of security where you had to implement maybe things like security groups and so on and so forth. So the layer of security also increased, or the level of security also increased. It was easy also to manage. Easy to manage in the sense that, let me show you. These are three different layers. These are three different layers. Now, imagine let's say one sec. I had to rotate. Now imagine this happened. Sorry. Okay. I don't know. It keeps skipping. Okay. Now, imagine this happens. You have the presenters layer. Oh, this pen is not the best. One sec. Which is the best pen for this? One sec. No, it keeps it froze a little, so I needed to try to fix it. Okay. Now, imagine you now have this presenter layer. Let me write it here. Presenter layer, the logical layer, and the database layer. You now had this. This is what the new design brings up. Now imagine you have these three. In case the front end engineer wants to maybe do something at the level of your front end, which is your user interface, the person gets directly into this instance and does not necessarily affect this one by doing maybe an error or so on, and does not affect the database. So there is that distinction. If you want to do anything at the level of front end, go to your front end and do your work. If you want to work at the level of database, makes it easy. Logical tier, go ahead. So there is not this difficulty where you get to see all the codes from the presenters layer, from the logical layer, or in one stack, the database configuration in one stack. It brought a lot of confusion. But now, by doing this, it releases that stress of managing the monolithic application. But now you have three distinct layers that you can manage. This is just what I've just said is just a way of briefing for you to get an idea of what we are going to do, how important it is. At this point, any question before we dive to the demo? Any question at this level? We're just going to take questions for about a minute. Okay. If no question, that means the deployment we're going to do is well understood, right? What we are going to try to do today is well understood, right? Okay, great. Okay, that's great. So let's begin our demo then. So let me stop sharing my screen. Good. Let me share my other screen. So let me just give me a few seconds. Let me navigate to my other screen. So in brief, I've just given an explanation of the architecture we are going to try to simulate today. That's what I've just done. Yes, so that's what we've done. And let me share my screen. Yeah. So we are going to make sure we're going to be sorry. I'm sorry once again. It's from our side, so we apologize sincerely for that. We're going to, when we say really fast, not like speed of light. No, we're going to do it. Explain at every level. Yes, but we'll be glad that everybody who's following, if any issues, just um send your worry in the chat. I think Prof Atanga will be there. I'll be there to handle any issues and so on. So be rest assured, we have you covered at every point. So thank you very much. Let me navigate. Okay. So while waiting for it to come up, at the end of this session, you should at least one thing understand what is a theoretic architecture, how is it important, or how did it come to solve the at the end. Share my screen. Okay, guess you should be seeing my screen. If you see my screen, please do indicate in the chat if you're not seeing. Oh, really? I don't know. Yeah, I think so too. Okay, some people are seeing my screen already. Okay, seeing my screen. Yes. I just want us to be in line. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. So let's begin. I love working in SA East 1, so it's my favorite region. So now we get in there. So the first thing we're going to do, we're going to start from lowest to highest. That means from the less complex to the more complex. Let's say so. Let's say so. So what we're going to do is we'll start first. When we create the security, yes. Why? Because RDS takes some time before it really spins up and it's up and running. And is the instances that will harness or host our presentation layer and our logical layer. When we do so, we'll then go ahead now to start doing the configuration to connect. In brief, that is what we're going to do. As simple as that. It might be a little bit technical at some point. I might make a mistake at some point. So do well to share. Yes, it's a room for us to share. Not for me to share. Yes, that is how I always see it. Okay, so let's begin. Let me start with the EC2 instances. Security groups. Sorry. Okay. Now, the first security group we are going to create is the presentation layer security group. And the presentation layer security group, remember, it's supposed to be open to everybody in the internet. So we are supposed to open port 80 to everyone in the internet. So that's the first thing. So okay. Great. Now we already have our presentation layer security group up and running. Now let's go ahead to create the second, which is good. So who's best with you? Fine. Logic SG.
We can't see your
So
screen.
okay, you can't see my screen. Oh, thank you very much. Thank you for indicating. Okay. Okay. And what about now?
Sharing.
Can see it, right?
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. So now the logical tier, remember we said we want information to flow from our presentation layer right to the database, passing through the logical tier. So what does it mean? So we'll make sure that our inbound rule allows for traffic from the security group of the presentation layer. So what do I mean? This is what I mean. Come here, inbound.
I'm sorry, we didn't see the first security group because of your network.
Oh,
Could you
sorry.
please
Okay.
start from scratch, maybe?
Okay, one sec. Let me just show you. Let me just show you. Okay, this presentation. Okay, first things first. I opened up SSH from anywhere. But in your case, when you're redoing the demo, open it just to your IP. It will still work perfectly. The main essence is to secure your architecture. So that is why normally it's supposed to be my IP. I had to open port 80 to everybody. Why? Because this is the presentation layer. And actually, everybody is supposed to have access to this my website or this my sample website. So that's why I had to open HTTP from anywhere, like anybody can access. That's just all I did. So I've not done any change. So okay, let me recreate the other. So let's go back to the logic. SG allows traffic from the presentation layer, or yes, let's say presentation layer. I want to say presentation security group, but it's fine. Still same. Now, at this level, I have to first of all open on this logical tier. There's what I'll use to do the proxying or the reverse proxying. That is, there is one application I will set which is called Flask that will sit inside my logical tier and will be the one to transfer the information from my presentation layer right down to my database. So I need to make that port of that Flask application open. I have to open. So it's what I'm trying to say is that, okay, let me come here and do it so that I'll explain it from here. I come here, I say, yes, it's TCP, yes, port. Second, 5,000. Let me see something. Okay, yeah. 1 sec, let me check something. Okay. Okay. Let me come and choose the presentation layer security group. This is it. Now, what do I mean? I mean that this is a presentation layer security group. That means I'm trying to say that traffic leaves from the presentation layer to my logical layer, passing through port 500, which is that port that port that will be sitting inside my logical tier. And that port is a port that this application called the Flask application will be using to take information from the presentation layer right down to the database layer, the presentation layer through port 5000, which is the normal layer from which you listen to. I'm talking the sense of the application I'll put inside. So that's what I've just said. So I'm doing what we call security group chaining, such that the security will be tight. Now I go to the next. I just open SSH because I'll need to also log in here. I just open it anywhere. But normally I'm supposed to put my IP. So I do that. Create. Excuse me. Now it's created. The next I'm going to create is the security group of my database. Now I can RDS. I'm going to use RDS security group allows traffic from logic layer. Now I scroll down. Excuse me. Now I come here. I just put 3306. And come here and choose Aurora MySQL. This is the default port for most MySQL databases. So I now open it to receive traffic from the where is it? Where is it? Sorry, I'm looking for on the logic here. What do I mean? This is the port through which the database listens or gets information. This is the port here, port 3306. I'm just trying to say that receive information on port 3306 only through the logical tier. That's what I've just said here. So I'm chaining. So I have just done that. Now, all my 3 security groups are up and running. Now, the next thing I want to go and do is to create now, sorry, to create a database, because databases take some time before they are up and running. So while I do that, while I'm working on the other instances, by then you'll be up and running. So let me go to RDS. Excuse me. Okay, so let me go down. Databases, yes. Create database, yes. Excuse me. So yeah. Okay, so I'll use MariaDB. You could use MySQL, you could use Postgres, but for this session I'm using MariaDB. So scroll down, template. I'll just use a free tier template. Yes, nothing more, nothing less. It's just a demo. And then the identifier name, I'll say okay, Flask Maria. What is this? Flask Maria DB. Good. So the name I've just given it, the identifier name I've just given it, Flask MariaDB. It's just a name, nothing more. You can change it your own way, but you will know why. I see I'm very specific about names. It depends on how you set up your um your code. So you have to be very careful. Okay. At the level of the username, yes. I'll just leave admin as a username. Just leave admin. Next, what again? Self-managed password, yes. And I'll just give you the password. Which password can I give? Okay. I just give. Okay. I've given it the password. It's weak, yes. It's just a demo. But normally you're supposed to give your a very strong password for databases, because databases, you don't joke with them. Because if you give a weak database, a weak password for your database, it could be leaked. Yes. So what next? Connectivity, yes. Don't connect, yes. IPv, yes. What again? Database, subnet, yes. Okay. For public access, if I turn this one on, that means I can connect to the, if I turn this one on, I can connect to the database individually. But if I leave it off, it means that I can only connect to the database also through the logical tier. That's one security layer. So I'll put it no. When you're doing the demo yourself, you can put it yes, and then you try to connect to the database directly. And then when you put no, you see how you will not connect to the database directly. So choose existing, yes. Let me choose my existing database security group, yes. Not again, not again, not again, not again. Okay, not again. Something. When it comes to additional configuration, yes. Here. So I'm supposed to give this one just Flask DB. Flask DB. So what again? Aside that, what else? Let me just do a quick check. So just to make sure everything is fine. Okay, yes. Okay.
Prof,
here.
can you take questions? I can see Ijoma has raised her hand for a while now. Or do we give time for questions?
Okay. Thank you very much, Prophet Tanga. Okay. Immediately I create a database. We'll just pick some questions.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, thank you. So database, yes, admin, self managed, yes, password, yes. I just want to make sure I've done all the configurations. Yes, 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 yes. Okay, I think since it's just a demo, no need for backup. I need backup. Just a demo. Encryption, yes, just leave that one. Nothing. Enable auto mirroring upgrade. Nope. I need that. It's not just a demo. Okay. May create. Okay. Okay, it's creating. So yes, I can take questions now. So we'll just take questions for about a minute, and then we continue.
Okay, thank you very much, Prof. It's been a wonderful work so far.
Thank you.
I will start with Ijoma. Your hand has been raised for a while now. Please, we need just like let's say four questions because there's still a lot to cover. So Ijoma, kindly unmute yourself, please, and ask your question. Thank you very much.
Okay, good afternoon. My question is not that deep. I just want to ask, when you were creating the security group, I noticed that you chose MySQL, but when you were creating the RDS instance, instead of you to choose MySQL, you chose Maria. So I want to know, it doesn't mean anything, or it doesn't mean anything. I don't understand why you chose Maria. Can you hear me?
Prof, can you hear a question, Prof?
I can hear you. So I want to just go there
Yes.
so I show you something. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, please can you ask the question again?
Okay, I just said that when we're creating the security group, I noticed that engine you chose for RDS was MySQL.
Aurora.
Yes. Then when you came back to this place to create the main RDS instance, you chose MariaDB. So I want to know, does it mean maybe you can when you are creating an RDS, you can actually pick any engine like.
Okay. I get the point. Let me show you something. Okay. Let me just make us down to create a new. Have you seen?
Yes,
Once I
sir,
click Myra, MY, it counts MySQL. Now, MariaDB is a type of MySQL. Do you get the point? It's a type of MySQL database. You get the point? So there are different types. When you talk about MySQL, there are different types of engines. We have Postgres, we have Aurora, we have Myra. I mean, the whole set of engines I wrote there, where is it? So they are all relational databases. All relational databases are SQL. And when we talk about SQL databases, these are the different types. These are the different types here. Let me show you. Let me just come as I want to create. Different types of engines. Here they are. One sec. Okay, here they are. You have Aurora, you have MySQL, you have Postgres, you have Microsoft, you have Oracle, and so on. So these are the different engines when it comes to relational databases. So I decided to choose one of them when I was creating. I just decided to use MariaDB. That's one type. So I decided to run this demo using Myra. Is it clear now?
It is okay. So you can choose anyone. All right.
Yes,
Thank you.
but it depends on your configuration.
Okay, Joma, let me throw more light on
logical
it.
T and
If you are still
database. You don't
doubting,
just choose.
if you are still doubting, let me throw more light on it. So I'll quote a different example. For example, if you are it's like a related something like if you are an AWS, let's say you're a cloud engineer, right? When it comes to cloud engineering, we have a whole lot. We have solution architect, we have practitioners, we have DevOps engineers, we have FinOps, right? So all of them, all of this stuff are under cloud engineering. So when we talk of MySQL, it have different database, relational databases that you can choose when you are trying to create your database. Okay, so it has a whole lot of sub-content that you can choose from it. Okay, that's just what Prof is trying to explain. So I think it clears you more, it like gives you more clarity on that right now, right?
Okay, thank you.
Okay, you're welcome.
Yes, so sorry, Mr. Tanga. I guess this video, I guess Ijoma was just trying to know if both DBs can listen on the same port, which is 33 whatever the port is, right? I guess that's what she was trying to know. And down the line, you answered the question there, right there when you said MariaDB is a type, is a type of MySQL DB. So if it's a type of it from the open source, then they can share the same path. But if you go to another RDBMS, MS SQL, for example, it has a different port. So that won't use the same port. But I think you answered it just when you said it's a type of MySQL database. So yes, they share the same port if it's a type of it. So that's the point where you answered it already.
Okay. Thank you very much, Fidel, for clarification. I'm glad we share knowledge. So happy.
Any other
Thank you so
any other
much.
question from any
So,
other person,
is it
please?
clear now? Everything fine?
Any question from? Okay, she says it's clear. Okay, if there is no other question from any other body, Prof, you can proceed.
Okay. So, in the absence of
Prof, it seems like you are muted. Can you please unmute yourself, please?
oh, thank you very much. Thank you so much. Okay. Okay. What I was saying was now we want to go ahead to create our two other layers, which is the logical layer and the presentation layer. So we're going to start first with the logical layer or the logic layer or the app layer, any name goes. So we're going to start with it. So let's go ahead to create it. That's what I'm trying to do now. Okay. So go down. Yes. I'll use Amazon Linux 2023. Yes. What again? Yes. Yeah. Which one will I use? Let me just. I already had a key pair, so I'm going to use a key pair I had. So you could create your key pair. It has no problem. So I come at the level of security group. I choose an existing security group, which is the one for my logic tier. So here I choose it. And I scroll down, nothing more to add for now. So I go ahead and create it. So while it's creating, let me go ahead now to create the presentation tier. Okay, yes, nothing. Yep. So using keeper, no issues. I choose an existing security group, which is that of my presentation. Yes, nothing more, nothing less. That is all. I go ahead and create. Now, what I'm going to do now, I want to go ahead now and configure my logic tier. What do I mean? I want to log into my logic tier, do the updates, reverse proxying or the transmission of my information from my presentation layer to my database layer. So I want to go and configure it now. That's what I want to do. Okay, so let me just make sure. Okay, the two are running. So I'm going to connect to it. Connect. If you are seeing my terminal, you let me know because sometimes it skips. Does not show the terminal. I will show it in another interface. Okay. Can you see my terminal? I doubt. Right? You cannot see my terminal, right?
Yeah, Prof, we don't see your terminal, we can see your AWS console.
You cannot. Yes. Okay. Just as I expected. Oh, Windows. Uh-huh. Yep. This will do. Yes, this will do. So, can you see my terminal now?
For sure.
Okay, great. Now, what do I want to do? I want to simply start configuring my whole application, uh, that is my whole instance. That's what I want to do. So, one sec, one sec. I'm having some downtime here. Let me adjust it. Let me just adjust it so that you will not disturb the flow, because they're just codes I'm going to start running. I don't want to disturb any flow. Okay. Good. Now, the first command I'm going to do, first things first, whenever you log into your instance, first things first, I always advise update that instance. An update can come in any second. They could do an update 2 minutes before you log into the instance, so it's always good to do an update. So I update the instance first. Good. Good. Okay, solve, complete, everything is up to date. Now I go ahead and install some dependencies. Python, for example, Python 3. So I always make sure you don't just say that, oh, this version I'm sure is already there. So I always run it to be sure. You might never know. So I go ahead now to install pip. So these are just dependencies, okay? Yes, they're just dependencies. So that's what I'm trying to install now. Reduce it a little. Good. I want to, one sec. I want to now install a plugin or a connector that will allow me to connect from this machine to my MariaDB. So that's what I'm trying to do now. So that's what I'm trying to do by running this. Yes. So you allow me to do the connection when I'm trying to log in from, in as much as I've said in my security group, all database allow for communication with the logic tier, does not mean automatically you do that without me doing some configurations and so on. So that's what I'm trying to do. Yes. So the last one, I install now Flask, the logic that will do the proxying. So yeah, good. Mm. you take it will have good. Why latency? Okay, fine. So I've installed Flask. Good, fine. Now, what do I want to do? I want to tell Flask the instructions it needs to carry, because even if you've installed the logic, it doesn't mean the logic working without you giving it instructions. So there's a configuration file that I need to call an app.py file, which is Python script. I put the below such that the information and follow suit. PD script. I paste it. Paste it. Good. So this is a script that does the logical thinking, any information you put at what point, take it and put it in database at this point, and so on and so forth. This is a script. So, yep. Let me save it. I don't know why the interface is giving me a lot of latency. Something like that. Okay, it's fine now. Now, next thing, we've told Flask that okay, any information you get from the presentation layer, do well to send it to the database. That's what we've told Flask. But we've not given Flask the connection strings to the database. We've not done anything. So I will now do what we call, I'll add a temporary, because I'm going to add it very well. It's just a temporary environmental variables that you will use to connect to the database, such that I can now say, okay, when I test it goes well, now I create now a good script for it, a good script that has the the how do you call it, the connect, and everything works out well. Yes. So I'm just doing temporal environmental variables just to do the testing before we do further configuration. So first things first, I want to give Flask those connection strings, and the first thing I'll need to give it is the database endpoint. And the database endpoint, I have to get it from my
Sorry,
database.
Prof. Sorry for interrupting. Please, for those of us doing the hands-on with you, could you share the configuration scripts in the chat?
I'm about to share the repo, Fidel.
Okay, okay, all right, thank you.
Let me take it from my database. Let me come here first. Here. And take it from my database.
Okay, guys. Hello, Prof. Augustine.
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes,
yep.
Eric, we can hear you 101.
Okay, great, guys. How is it going? How is it going, guys? Just a quick check. Just a quick check. How is it going? Please, can you hear me?
Okay. Yes.
Awesome, guys. How is it going? Oh,
We're
good.
working
Okay, if your
together.
mind says
Thank you.
Good. Awesome. Let me get how it's going in the chat.
Already
So
running
if you can give a
Arreyetta.
thumbs up. Perfect. Abba says going well. Great, guys. Awesome. Halima, the same. Awesome. 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 Okay, Lucky, the same. Atemele the same. Miriam Dicha, the same. Guys, this is good. This is good. Bunny, the same. Oh, the network issue, guys. Don't worry. The session is being recorded. We are going to get it available on our YouTube channel, right? So that you can rewatch and practice anytime, right? And for those who are doing this and they are getting a bit confused with the words, the terminologies, the whole thing, don't worry, right? Don't worry. Just be following. Just be following. If you can just follow it, and then you practice later, that's fine, right? And if you're having any challenge or these words are so confusing to you, right? We have an intensive training program here at Solavis Tech, which takes you for 6 to 8 months intensive, right? So that all these jargons, all these terminologies, all these things, you're going to get familiar with them, right? Where we fully immerse you into, to AWS and DevOps, tools and everything. So you get familiar with them. You can be able to talk and, get yourself on interviews and just try those interviews, with left hand, right? So, like I said, you found this so confusing. After the session, you can reach out to me. You can reach out to me on our WhatsApp group, right? And then I'll tell you more about our training program so that, in the next 6 to 8 months, you can also become a pro. You can become a full-time AWS DevOps engineer, right? So I'm going to drop our WhatsApp group link, right? So that those of us who haven't joined, you can join. Right? And then when you join, you can just check my name, on the WhatsApp group, and then send me a DM, right? And then I can tell you more about the training program, so that some of these words, some of these things, you can clear them from your from your brain, right? Yeah, and we help you and we hold you one on one. We take you through the entire training. At the end of the day, you're going to become a full AWS DevOps engineer, right? So, guys, enjoy. Just keep on practicing. Just keep on practicing. For those who are understanding, it's all good. And if you still want to upskill and learn more, all the same, you can still reach out to me right after the session. So, guys, enjoy the session. And Prof. Emmanuel is there. You can also reach out to him if you're having any issues about the session. Send him a question or anything while we're enjoying, as Prof. Augustine is leading us through this amazing session. So, guys, thank you all and enjoy till the end. Thank you all. Great.
Thank you, Eric. Thank you very much. Prof. Augustine, please kindly do share your GitHub repo in the chat, please. Your sharing has blocked my screen. I'm on a single screen, so I cannot retrieve from any other direction. Can you hear me, please? Prof. Augustine, can you hear me?
I think we lost me because of network.
In progress. Copy paste the code here and then try to make use of AI tools in debugging.
Yes. Also, for those who are going to be, watching the recording on YouTube, right? The link to our WhatsApp group is going to be dropped in the description section, right? I'm going to drop the links there of our,
Thank you very much,
WhatsApp
Eric.
group. Sure,
Really
Augustine.
appreciate.
Sure.
So,
okay, Prof. Augustine, please kindly share your GitHub repo in the chat, please. So
yes, I
you
can
are
do.
sharing, so I cannot retrieve that
Okay.
stuff from. Yeah, I have a
Okay.
single screen. Thank you very much.
Okay, right away. Let me do that. Let me do that right away. Okay, thank you.
Yeah. For those of you guys who were asking of the link, you have the link in
I'm
the
about
chat.
to share.
You can kindly go on the repo
I'm
and then
about
you copy the
sharing.
code.
That it is. Okay. Done so already.
There, I think that saves you well, right?
So anybody, you can do it and work with me and so on and so forth. So let me go here. So I'm back. Okay, thank you very much. Okay, at the level of the RDS, we want to get some connection strings like first things first, I want to get my endpoint. This my endpoint here. I can get it here, or I can get it here. This is it. You 1 sec. Let me see. Okay. Storage instance and configuration. Anyways, this is it. I don't know why it's not showing there. Normally it's supposed to show. Maybe the update they made, because at first this was not there. This was not available. The update they've made has removed it. So here, this is the connection string or the endpoint. This is it here. Here it is. This. So I just copy it. You can copy and keep in your notepad, okay? I'm just copying it because I want to use it right away. I want to use it right away. So I can just copy. I'll keep at the level of my notepad at the back end. Let me just keep at the level of my notepad at the back end. So I'm just going to tell you the things you should copy and keep. For those who are following with me, let me copy. Okay, let me keep it here. This new one. Yep. Yep. Okay, I have my endpoint. The next thing is the user. And the user, okay, here. At least you should. Okay. You have to copy this name first. Copy the database name. Copy it here. Database name. Yep. Copied, and I've kept it inside. At the level of my password, your password normally cannot be written there. It will be written there, but you cannot see it. Is it here? Is it? Is it here? It's written there, but you have to remember your password. Normally, it's not something that has to be disclosed that easy. So I'm going to write it at the back end, what I used as password. Then the next now is the master username or username. So if you see master username and you see username, they're the same things. They're the same things. Or what you say user, sorry, user, is it admin. So I copy it. I come and keep it at the level of my back end. So I have my connection endpoint, I have my database name, I have my password, and I have my user. Those are the 4 things I need. So having done that, okay, I go now to the level of my terminal. I go back to my terminal. Let me reshare. I'm using my, okay, I thought it was for me. Let me reshare this. Let me reshare this. Okay. Sorry, I'm not using a second screen. I'm somewhere that I could not displace my second screen, so that's why you see I'm flipping across the different tabs. So let me go back to my logical tier. So I'm seeing inside, I was doing all that work inside. So now I want to temporarily expose at the level of my backend some environmental variables. And the environmental variables simply are the database endpoint, so that my Flask will use that configuration I have sent or I have set up for it. It will look at that configuration, pick all the necessary credentials from the environmental variables that it needs for it to connect to my database. So that's what I'm doing here since. So I want to expose. Let me run the command to expose my endpoint. sec. Let me just put it here and change it. I'm just changing it from the back end so that I just run it. So that's what I'm doing. Nothing less. Just adjusting it in the back end. Then just copy and paste. Yeah, so there'll be no issue. Yep. Okay, so let me paste it. This is the first command. Exposing my data endpoint. That's it. So based on what you saw on the GitHub, I've just replaced the values. So we have the values that I'm supposed to replace at the right hand, and we have variables at the left hand, which is the exposed DB host. Those are variables. So the values now are on the left. So that's I'm just replacing them. So I just run, go to the next sim. So you who is doing the same thing with me, you can just go ahead and run the sim. For the next one, I just kept the value there. Admin, nothing more. Next now. The next now is the password. Let me go. I'll replace the password. Good. Replace the password. Good. Now let me run it. Good. I just ran it. Next one. I just left the name there. So that's what we're going to do. We're just going to run the name. Yes. Hit it. Yes. Now, automatically, what have I done? I have given all the necessary credentials needed for my logical tier to log into my database. Then now I try to run it. So let's keep our fingers crossed if I can log into my database. So I can copy the next line. Yes. And I just substitute with the data endpoint. So that's just what I'm doing. Just the endpoint I'll change. Okay, keep your fingers crossed. So it asks for my password because remember I not passed my password there. So I try to run it. It will not show. What is it saying? This is denied. This is denied for user using password. Yes. Why is it refusing? Let me see something. Okay, maybe I wrote a wrong password, maybe. Okay, I wrote a wrong password. That is why it's saying that access denied for user this using password. Yes, that means I was supposed to log in with my password, but I had to put a wrong password. So that's why it refused. So I need to check again. So this is my database. That MariaDB, this database that I created, this is it I'm inside. So is it logging in? Those who are following from the back end, is it logging in? So I'll just give a few minutes for those who are trying. Okay, I guess they're still trying to work it out. No issues let's move ahead. Now, once I am inside my database, now I'm in my with databases, you can create as many tables in your databases as you wish. So many tables based on, but be very careful, mindful too. It depends on how much space your database has, right, to get the information. So what do? I want now to create a specific table because I have to inside my Flask script. I told Flask that okay, once you connect to my database, there is a specific table that I want you to be passing on any information that I will give you. So I want to create that table such that when I go to the front end, I pass that information, Flask would take it and come and put it in that exact table in the exact row and column I want. That is what I am doing. So I want to go ahead and create my table. So I run the first command. My table simply is Flask DB. That's the only table I have. So you can create any table you want, but make sure if you want to do any change at the level of this GitHub repo, make sure you also do the change across. That when I say across, at the level of the configuration file of the Flask or the instruction file of the Flask, any of them. Okay, now I've created my database change. Good. So now I'm inside that table. This is a table now. At first, I was in no table. I was just like maybe in the home directory. Now I have decided to come maybe to a specific folder, just like Linux. I'm just using similarities, not that you are in a directory here. So this is my table. I'm inside that table. Now, what do I want to do? Now, I want to create a specific role and column and everything such that everything that is passed at the level of my front end will be passed at the level of my DB. It will be fitted at the exact points or places. So I come here, I run now the command. This is my command. I hit enter. So query okay. 0 rows affected, 0.0 seconds taken. What does it mean? It has done what I expect. And there's no rows, like nothing has been added yet inside. That's automatically what it's saying. Nothing more, nothing less. Yes, that's just what it's saying. Now, in case, let me ask this question. In case you want to see what is inside that, it's just a simple question. If you know it, fine. If you don't know it, still fine. In case you want to see what is inside that table, or you want to check that table, if by chance you know, just say it. It's just to tease you, okay? It's not something that I say you must know. How do I check if that table is existing also and so forth? How do I check? Select. Good. I'll use the select command. So I'll use select from, and the one I created was application. This is it, application. So I'll say select from applications. So that's what I'm going to run. Thank you very much, Okona. Good. Empty set is empty. There's nothing inside. So this is the command. I'll use this command again. So I'm just trying to show you. I want to do before and after. That's why you see I'm running the command now. So I've done so, nothing is showing me that empty set. Good. That means everything is fine. They have not passed any data. So this is what you should see. For those who are following with me, any issue at this level, for those who are following with me, and at this point I can take questions, if any, please. Just a minute for questions.
So this video again.
Yes.
Thanks, bro, for the presentation so far.
Thank you
One
very much.
question I want to ask, at the point you exported so many variables and And down below that, you still provided the same values. Normally, when you export, you expect that automatically to pick it. But it's like we're
Good.
exporting password is this is that, and at the end we still provided the same value. So more looking like a redundant steps. So that's what I want to get clarification on.
Okay, you mean here? Let me scroll up. One sec, let me exit my database.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. Let me recall something. I have forgotten I'm using Bash. Okay. The reason why I exported was that, okay, first of all, I gave you the password. Good. I exported everything, this. Now, once I ran this command, which is the command, this connection string command, this one, right? Automatically, what it's doing at the back end is it takes whatever I have sent here and also does a check, because it's the Flask. All this is for Flask. All this is for Flask. This one is just connection. This connection does not have anything to do with Flask. Remember, Flask is the one using everything we've exposed. Flask is the one, everything we've exposed is for Flask. We've not used Flask yet.
Okay.
This connection string, we are just connecting. We want to check if my logic tier can connect to my database. When I will start using my Flask, like when I will pass information from my front end, that is when Flask now will start using now this back end information which I have exposed.
But in that case, if that's the explanation to that, the export that you have here is not persistent with the instance. Let's say you exit this terminal and come back, your export, it won't see those values.
Exactly. That is why I said it was just temporary. If I wanted to do like to continue to the end, like how can I say it? If this instance stops and ons back, like what you were saying, the values disappear. That's what you're trying to say, right?
Yeah. So
Good.
yeah,
Now
yeah, go ahead.
imagine. Okay, thank you. Imagine I was doing the connection directly and not do any stop and start. All right, it will work, right? They call them temporary values. That's why it's export temporary. You just do it to test. Now, I'm doing this such that you see also the method you use when you want to do a quick test, and the method you have to use when you are doing now a production kind of environment type of thing. There's the next step I'll do what we call um a system. It's like a how can I call it? I've forgotten that thing. Oh, sorry. It's a script that I'll run. It's like a daemon. Yes, it's like a daemon script. It will run in the back end such that even if my application should off, stop, or do anything, once it comes back on, that daemon script will be able to pass out all those values back to my Flask application to make use of it and do the connection. So
Okay.
that's why I really emphasize that temporary exposure. You understand? I said temporary exposure. Is it clear?
Yeah, that's clear.
Okay, thank you very much.
That's clear.
Anything
Then
to add? Because you might have something to add, I know.
no, not on that until something I'll probably do. Basically what you're
Okay.
saying is the export is not just for the connectivity,
Yes.
because I want to think that when you're connected, automatically you're in the database and your configuration files reside within the server. So since there's
Yes.
connectivity between the server, your logic layer server and the database, then you don't need to re-authenticate, right? Because you're already
Yes.
connected. You don't need
Exactly.
to re-authenticate with the ones you said temporary export. But again,
Mhm.
It's something that, maybe with more hands-on, by the time I do it, I will try to see that clearer.
Okay, thank you
Yeah,
so much.
you're
I
welcome. Then the
really,
first,
I really appreciate the question. Yeah,
welcome. The
yeah.
second one is to do with the security group. At the point you introduce a 5,000 port number. Is that like a custom port number, or
Good.
what is
Thank you
that?
very much. Thank you very much for bringing that out. I explained it during the session, but thank you for bringing it again, once again. Now, Flask is running on port 5,000.
Okay.
You get now the point. So that
Yeah.
is why at the level of my security group, at the level of the logical tier, I said, Flask, you can only listen to traffic coming from what? The presentation layer through port 5,000, because Flask only understands that port.
Okay.
Is it clear?
All right. Yeah, that's clear. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much. Okay. Thank you so much for the question. I hope everybody got the explanation and everything is clear. So now, I wanted to skip this other session and come later, but let me just do it. Let me just do it. I wanted to skip this and come and do it later, but let me just do it now. Okay. He asked a very important question, which let me just handle it now. Now, what he said about export is temporary. That's why you see on the documentation I said temporary. In case I did my connection and did everything without let's say my instance shutting down and maybe stopping and restarting once again, if I do the connection all through, it will work. But this is the right way you should do it. Let me just show you the right way you should do it. Let me just implement it now. I wanted to skip this part and come and do it later, but let me just do it now so you should see the right way you should do it, such that even if your instance should should stop and restart, your credentials will still be present at the level of the daemon, and the daemon will be able to pass it at the level of your Flask to do anything it has to do. So I want to just do it now. Let me just do it now. So I'm going to create a Flask service file. So let me just do it now. And then I will come here. Let me show you. For those who are following from the back end, I think you already have the script. You just open. I'll just do the changes in the back end, then I explain the script. Yes, I'll just do the changes in the back end, then I explain the script at the level of when I'm pasting it in my service file. Okay, let me change this. Yes, change this one. Yes, this one. Just do every change such that I explain directly and you get the point. Paste Oli, yes. Admin, yes. Okay, I think I've done all the changes now. Let me go and put it now inside the file. You should see what I mean. Okay. Let me do this. Okay. Now, this is what we call a service file or a daemon file. Now, what happens is that when I run this file, it does that interaction with my configuration file such that once my server restarts, whether it's a billion times, it will be able to pass these credentials to my configuration file to do the smooth communication between my front end and my database. So normally the exportation and everything I did, this is what you're supposed to do. This is the right thing to do. This is the right thing to do. When you do it, you save the file and then you run the Flask. You run Flask. Or you first restart the daemon first. Wait, let me see something. Let me see if I can. Let me run Flask first. Let me run Flask first. Good. Whenever you see this, you know that Flask is running. Flask is running when you see this. So I've just run Flask to just check if everything's fine at that point too. Let me see. Good. Clear. Then now let me run my daemon. Let me run my daemon. I'll run it one line after the other. So the first thing, I make it persistent. I make my daemon persistent so that in case anything should happen, it will still run and everything. Then I go ahead now to start the daemon. Good. 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 Great. Clear. Now, I've done all of this. Fine. Good. Yes. Now let me check my status of my Flask to be sure that it is running actually. Good. Flask is running. This is it. Everything is enabled, is moving fine. Flask has the credentials to talk. So my logical tier and my database now are communicating. Now, what do I ponder on now? My presentation layer talking to my logic tier. That's what I want to do now, or I want us to do now. Now, let's go. Let's go. So now we focus on the presentation layer. Let me come here and restart my okay. All right. Sorry, I have to do this. I have no choice. That's where I am now. Okay, so let me go to my EC2. Our main focus now is presentation layer. Logic and database fine. Okay. Come here. Presentation layer. Yes, that is where we are focusing on. Okay, let's connect. So I'm just using the direct connect. I'm not using my Git bash or any other connection method. Just using my browser to connect. Good. Let me close the other one, the one for logical TA, so that I can open only the one that is necessary. Okay. Yes, just this is necessary. So look at here. Look down here. Presentation layer. So we are inside. So that's how you can also check when you are using the browser to connect. You always make sure you know the exact instance you're in. So here, first things first, as we said, the first things you need to do when you are logging into your instance, first you make sure you update the instance. Update the instance. Okay, everything's fine. Let me go to the now. I need to install Apache. So it's just the open source web server software that allows you to deploy your application, and it's visible at the level of the internet and so on and so forth. So I'm using Apache. Okay, so let me go and install now Apache. Just install Apache, nothing more. I don't want to write the commands so that we be fast. I want to take time to write. So Apache is installing. Okay. So I come now and start Apache. I've started Apache. Now I enable Apache. That's what I'm going to do now. Enable Apache. So it means that in case my instance should shut down and on back, Apache should still be running. Hit enter. Good. Now, next thing now, I want to configure what they call a reverse proxy file. Now, what does it do? I'm telling Apache that, okay, once they pass maybe anything at the level of my forward facing application, please, Apache, using this configuration file, send the information to the logical tier and the instructions. Do this. Once you receive any information, send it to the logical tier, and logical tier will, in case with the instruction it has, it will send it out to the database, and that is it. So that's what I want to do now. I want to create now that configuration file. So let me do so. So remember, there's some changes. If you're watching, there's some changes I need to do. Yes, I'll come right down. Right down. Right down. So if you're looking at the GitHub repo, you see that I need to change one thing, or there's one thing at the level of two spaces, the logical tier private IP. I need to put it so that it talks with the instance. And remember, it's using a private IP because they are in the same VPC, so they can communicate each other using their private IPs. So I will just go pick the private IP and do the change in the back end. So it's something you can do. You can handle that and perfectly well. So I'm going to copy the private IP. For those who are wondering what the private IP is, let me just share with you what the private IP is. Let me share this one. Okay, let me share with you what the private IP is. So I want to choose the logical tier private IP. This is a private IP here. This private IP. I copy it. Remember, machines talk with each other using IP addresses. That's why I want to say that, okay, talk with this one. I need to tell it what does it talk with, or which machine does it talk with. That's why I need to emphasize the private IP. Okay, so I'll just do the changes in the back end at the spots where you've seen. Nothing more, nothing less. Let me paste it. Yes. This side too. Yes. So pasted it. Yes. Good. Check. I'm checking. Okay, fine. Now let me go and do it. Let me go and paste it at the required spot. This is it. I paste. Good. This is it right down here. I decided to put it right down, so I'm telling it talk with what? The logic tier on port 5000. So this is what it means, submit to logical tier app. So in brief, that is what the whole short configuration script does. So let me save it. Oh, what is happening? What's happening? 1 sec. Let me do something. I don't know why it's just not going. It's not pasting at my end and saving, so I don't know why. Let me refresh the terminal. Okay, record the command. Good. Come and paste it once again. Okay, let me give you some space. Good space. Then I paste it. Paste. Good. Okay, it's now moving well. Okay, so the configuration files or set root. Now let me restart Apache so it picks the new changes I see file. It knows that okay, there's a new proxy file. So if restarted Apache. Okay, now last thing. Now let's deal with our do to put it. Okay, let me check something first. Let me check if it is moving. Sudo okay. Okay, I'm just checking like that one after the other because there was a time I tried after installing Apache. I could not see those paths. I was like, what's happening? So I'm just trying it so that I'm sure the paths do exist. Okay, they exist. Okay. Oh, and I didn't use the cd command. One sec, let me use the cd command. What is that? Okay. Okay, that's it. This is the HTML file. So now I'll create an index.html file here. So sudo, I don't know why the latency taking a lot. No, it's taking so much time. Can you hear me? My end is frozen. I'm just trying to check if everybody can hear me. Hello? What's happening? Can everyone hear me now? Can everyone hear me now? Hello? Hello?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. So
Can you
yes, thank you very much. I can hear you. Thank you so much. Because at some point I was like trying to talk and no one was listening, so I was like confused. So let me reshare my screen. Okay, resharing my screen now. Okay, so everybody, you're seeing my screen, right? Everybody's seeing my screen, right? Okay. 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 So, as we were talking about the HTML, I'm just going to log into this directory. I'm going to create an index.html file here. Then I'll restart the HTML and then try to reach that application. That's the only thing that's left. So let's go ahead. Let's try. Index.html. So then I know index.html. Good. I paste in now my code, my HTML code. Okay. Saved. Everything is saved. Let me just go back now. I want to just restart HTML such that it really takes in the changes. No issues. I don't want to. Sorry about that. I don't know why it keeps tripping. I don't know why. Let me just reshare. Keeps tripping. Okay. Let me restart my terminal. Just okay. Since I'm here, I just restart HTTP Apache. Good. Now, last thing, now we need to test. Let's keep our fingers crossed. We do the testing now. Okay. Now, by doing the testing, I just need to copy the public IP of the let me share my entire screen. Good. Okay. Test now. The public IP of the presenter's view or presentation view. And I try it. So for those who are testing from their end, let me share in the chat. You open from your end, you just fill the form. Just fill the form. That's what I want you to do. Just open from your end and fill the form. Okay, this is what you should see. This is what you should see. Is everybody seeing this? Is everyone seeing this? Good. Fill the form. Fill the form like I'm doing. I'll show you why. I'll tell you why. I'm just doing something like this. Just write something like this. Something like that. Submit. Good. It has been submitted. So who are those who have submitted? If you submitted, just indicate. Then we'll check the database and check if the information you submitted ties with what you've written in the database. Good. Now let me log into my database. Let me log into my database so you see. So let me log into my logical tier. Let me close my presentation. Let me go to my logical tier and connect to my logical tier. So are you seeing my terminal? Are you seeing I've connected to my logical tier? If you've seen, just let me know. Are you seeing as my terminal is boosting up? This is my terminal. Are you seeing my terminal? Is everybody seeing my terminal? I'm in the logic tier. This is it here. Are you seeing my terminal? Okay. If you're seeing my terminal, please do indicate because I want you to check. For those who've inputted data, I want you to check. Hello. Can you hear me? Right. Can you? Oh, okay. I thought it was an error from my end. I could not hear anybody. Okay, let me reshare. I thought something was wrong. Let me share. So if you're seeing my terminal, let's check. So database. What we're going to do is just get in the database, check if everything you passed is in the database. That's just all. So I'm going to take the connection string back. Yes, this is the connection string. Good. Oh, I've not even entered my table. So enter my table first. The exact table I created. This is it. Now I will run the command I ran earlier. So those are the number of people who have imported their data. This is it. So now we've been able to run from presenters configuration right down to database configuration, and that is how it works. Do you feel satisfied? Okay, thank you very much. So everybody who sent the data, that's it on the database. Thank you very much. Thank you so much. So let me come now on camera. You'll be wondering who. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so here I am. My name is Arreyetta Augustine, and I have been able to walk you out or walk you through a 3-tier deployment or 3-tier architecture from presentation layer, logic layer, and database.
Thank you very much, Prof.
Co-host, Mr. Tanga.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Prof. It has been a great one. Please let me know your feel about the project today. Please let me know your feel. Just give me like one in the chat if you feel good. But if you don't feel good, just put 2, guys. You already know where to come up skill. Sorry about my background network, guys. We are blackout here. I'm managing to catch up. Okay, guys. I can see Ogona. Hey, how you doing? It's been long, Lucky. Yeah, for sure. I think I know this face. I know this face very well. I know the face very well. Okay, guys, Prof, thank you very much. Big engineer. It has been a wonderful one. Catch you guys on our next project. I think the next project will surely be a pot catch up later on. You meet me, guys. I'm coming for an automated CI/CD pipeline. You guys will see how it is being done. Great time. Okay, guys, catch you.
Thank you. 1 second. I want you to do something just like your assignment. I want you to ask yourself this question as you go ahead to redo the project. How can you make this project better? And how can you automate this project? Those are the 2 things I want you to ask yourself. How can you make it better? And how can you automate it? So thank you very much from my end. And I remain your humble host, Arreyetta Augustine. And have a nice time. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So somebody's asking about the record. Be rest assured the record will be made available